golden intros there, Frank. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's Drone Out. I've been away. I have come back. Everything is all right in the world, and I am proud of you guys. You're joined by my little Tony.
Bonjour.
AKA my darling wife. My darling substitute dad, Curry Kitten.
Hello.
And the missed opportunity, Andrew Frank.
Good evening.
Did you like that one?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, they're idiots. Hello. Sorry I was late. I've not long got up. I kind of like drifted off, and then I had a text message from someone, and I was like, "That's weird. That's not Frank shouting at me." But I have got 2 minutes before the show, and then immediately needed to go to the toilet.
Is it weird that 8 o'clock is your 8 a.m.? It's like
I've got two of them really. I've got a
what,
9
2 mornings?
Yeah, I get up at 9ish and then I go to sleep in the afternoon. I've been to the dentist today, and
how is that experience with COVID?
Well, he looks great now. My crotch is all wet. That'll be a fantastic soundbite.
The editor here already.
I do not understand what I saw just then. What happened?
I thought it was
that?
Sold
It's a bottle of
spray, and then it's like puff some of that.
Yeah,
it's a bottle of rum in it. It's the Japanese lemonade stuff, or sangria they call it, even though it's not alcoholic. Is sangria alcoholic?
Sangria is a Spanish wine.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's just
Confused about what's happening right now.
weird. They put it in this weird Japanese, but it's based on the Victorian bottles, where it's got like the glass. It's got like 2 divots, and it keeps the marble in there. It's just like a weird Japanese drink.
And 2 minutes in, no
I've drunk it before, and everyone asked me what the hell I was drinking. It was in a metal can. I usually buy it in a metal bottle, but I couldn't, so I've had to buy the glass one.
it's very strange. Before we got the show started, while we were still waiting for Jack,
You were actually talking about drone stuff.
we were talking about drones,
completely
and then Jack turned up, and we went live, and we're talking about sangria and
For some reason, I already want to mention the fact that in sort of celebration of Jack, my dog got really excited, ran up and down stairs 10 times, and then was so excited as she ran around, some poo came out.
Hey, very, very.
Well, that was nice.
I fly. Yep. They sell weird stuff in Brighton. I know, Clive, if you're watching this, thank you so much. Your package arrived today in celebration of where is Blue Owl? I know it was International Women's Day on Tuesday. Was that right?
I think it's Tuesday.
On Tuesday, and she's not here. Why is she not here?
She felt ill.
Have we seen Blue Owl and Jack in the same stream? That's the question.
Does she hate me still? No, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Blue Owl. It was a joke. I talk complete bollocks. You're way more beautiful and intelligent than me. I'm sorry. Please come back.
That's a given, but she's not here today. She's feeling unwell. At least she hasn't texted last minute, says I've fallen down some stairs and stuff like.
Or got locked out of her room. There's a reason why the universe was protecting her from me. Oh God, that doesn't sound good at all, does it? Look, I'm a complete idiot. Please just ignore me, and yeah, like everyone else does on here, especially Tony.
I was going to say that before Jack turned up, Tony was telling us about how he's gone flying.
Should I carry on?
Yeah, we'll start from the beginning. Pretend we hadn't heard it before.
Yeah.
I can't remember how I started it. Oh, I went flying.
Because you got a new something on it to test.
A new GPS puck, which worked perfectly. So the V1 that I had was, everyone was saying, oh, it's probably in the wrong place. The things might be disturbing it, getting satellites and stuff. But literally bought the V2, plugged it in, loads of satellites straight away. It was really good. So, and it was like 20 seconds to get them. So I was very happy. I flew over the back of Edenbridge where there is a microlight landed and taken off place. But I thoroughly checked the air ends.
And you weren't fishing. You weren't flying. You were fishing. That was it.
Yeah,
No, you don't have to fly now. Public places, you're okay. But the reason we were talking about this is because then I said to Tony, "Did you test out GPS rescue mode?" And he said, "No way." And I was like, "Well, you don't want to do it if you have to use it in anger. You want to test it out, make sure it works." He says, "No, I'm not doing that." I was like, "You put it on a switch, you turn the switch on. If it goes wrong, you turn it back off, and you fly it back normally." It's like this is like flat Earth. Tony doesn't believe in this. It's like, no, that can't be done.
There can't be satellites up there. It'll be in the way of the membrine.
It's the GPS masts. They're not tall enough.
I've got two panic things. If my FPV feed goes, I switch down one, and that will make it go into horizon mode. So if my spotter tells me which sort of way it is, I can flip the goggles off and have a look, and then hopefully fly it back. And then the other one is switch it all the way to the bottom, and then it will fly home or fall out of the sky.
But that's why you have to test it. Then you can be confident if you do put it in that mode, it will come back.
No, I'm too scared to.
But you just turn it back off again. If it
but
doesn't
what if
go
it
right.
just turns upside down and starts shooting towards the floor, and then oh my god, no.
Go up high.
How far do you have to go away and stuff like that before it works? Is there a limit actually?
You need to be by default. It's like over 200 meters. Go over 200 meters away. Go plenty of time up, and then flick the switch. If it does something weird, then take the switch back off again and just fly it.
I'm too scared.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll do it the day that I panic and I've lost.
That's no good, because then it might just bugger off to China or something, and you're like, that's weird. Maybe I should have tested that.
No.
Or you'd be saying, come back.
Please don't test it at like Wings and Wheels.
Yeah.
even
anywhere near Gatwick Airport.
I'm not convinced of part one of your plan either, because if I'll take my goggles off and fly back line of sight, Mr. I can't fly line of sight, or stand up, or use return to home. This is going interestingly.
No,
let's hope your pretend spotter's got better skills at flying it back for you.
I will agree with
on the sticks.
Good, thanks. It's all right.
I will agree with Tony. It is really difficult to especially when you've been flying for manual that long, to regain, give control over. It's like I couldn't fly any DJI stuff for ages because it was just so. I don't know. You just kind of felt like you're fighting it all the time.
Which GPS was it, Tony? It's the TBS V2 one. I got the V1 and it was just crap. Didn't work. So the V2 I got. Got the ticket for Wings and Wheels. See you all on the Sunday. Sweet. See you there, Carolyn.
Tony, the guy who regularly flies over the sea, is scared of return to home.
But I'm in control over the sea. That's the problem. With pressing that switch. Pressing the switch is the problem, is what I mean.
But we're talking about an out of control situation. I'm in control, and if I lose control, then it'll crash.
I've only done it a few times on my DJI stuff, on my Phantom and that. I've done it once in Greece where I got lost flying off the side of a mountain and went, right, I'm going to have to press the button and hope, and it was perfect to come back. But I don't trust these.
But that's why
Frank, you camping it.
I'm not doing it.
What was that? Sorry, Jack?
Are you camping at Wings and Wheels? If you're
maybe. It's a long way away, time-wise, and I don't know where I will be or what my situation will be at the time. I might have a vehicle I might have a home, or I might be living under a
Homeless.
bridge. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
working out.
Where do you think it's going?
I'm sleeping on my rooftop tent when it arrives.
I might be spooning my darling wife.
You won't get up that ladder, boy.
I will.
I won't let you.
It's like Tony's holding fort. It's like a siege. Like, Tony, it's not necessary to dig a moat around your motor vehicle.
It'd be fun though, because of like how tall Tony's van is on his tent. If you give the van a good shove, imagine how much he's gonna move around up there. Be like in Star Trek when everybody's like side to side.
I will make sure I fill my water tank up with water then, so you can't move it.
I know. It's like and like the overhang is perfect, like proper leverage to snap the tent off the vehicle.
You won't be able to get in there. That's all going to have a canopy on it.
Oh, whatever.
And a guard dog at the bottom, the size of a cat.
It's like he's issuing us with a challenge. It's like
I got off you lot.
Just strap fireworks to it, like. Well, in celebration of tonight's show, I've worn my drone users clueless, careless criminal T-shirt. Clueless being one of the top things.
I wore a car T-shirt today.
Oh, well done, Tone.
I was like, I'm not wearing my X-Gas T-shirt again.
There's currently travellers camping outside Wild at the moment. Oh no!
Oh god!
Not those kinds of people, are they?
Members of the travelling community.
Yes, that's right, Tony. We've taught you well. Yeah. Oh, we did try.
Doing so well.
I know. Frank, do you wanna quickly change the?
Change the subject.
Yeah.
Before we move on, has anyone else been flying in the past week? You've been able to fly at all, Curry?
Nope. As I said, now we've got this. We've had sort of partial restrictions lifted, so we can basically go out to a public. We can do recreation in a public field essentially, which means we could go off and fly something, as long as it's not a private field. And we don't have to pay to get there, which is why things like BFMA fields aren't open. But as soon as that happened, we had gales and rain down here, so I haven't been out.
Yeah, it has been absolutely shocking weather down here.
Yes.
Yeah,
been
pretty grim
to work outside in.
Yeah. But, Jack, since you've last been on the show, have you managed to fly anything or
build your guinea thing?
Yeah.
I finished the Guinea, as Frank knows, and that is all done. I'm not overly impressed with the, center caster wheel, and I finished-ish. Like I could probably do a bit more configuration, but the Flight Test Explorer, which you can see the wing poking out there, that's that done. So
do you want to grab it and show it off?
Move in the right direction? Not really.
He hasn't got any pants.
I have.
It's got a T-shirt and that's it.
No, I can go grab it, but it's just because it's an audio podcast, so you're gonna have to orchestrate like me getting up.
Oh, we've got a few things that we need to orchestrate because Min Chin Kim was flying a DJI drone, and I want to talk about it. Look at them. It might be better off naked, actually, if I'm being honest. Well done, Jack.
Normally, when people show something, they bring it to the camera.
Yeah, so we moved it further away.
She is the SS I've pooped my pants. And we look forward to her maiden. There you go, lads. It's big. That's what she
So you decided against flying her in the however many mile-an-hour winds that we've got at the moment then, yeah?
No, I doubt the elastic bands that are flimsy and keeping the wing attached to the fuselage are going to be strong enough for that.
It looks slightly reminiscent of a Skywalker. Is that what it's kind of modelled?
It is. It's basically a shit Bixler.
I reckon that you'd be able to get it flying quite easily in this weather. You just point it into the wind, full throttle, and let go, and it will just kind of drift backwards slowly.
Thing is, it's not very aerodynamic. It's like a bus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we're drifting backwards.
So, and here's the nose. So I've done what are they called, the HS 1177.
Camera.
So I ain't gonna be able to see anything. And one of the old air screw things, and got
They're massive, them things, isn't they?
yeah, like it's just heavy as anything. Like I should really
It's
crack it open.
Not so much
like,
FPV as AWACS.
yeah,
With that
it's like
antenna.
having a baby bell on a stick, barbecue skewer
Yeah.
on top of your plane.
Did anyone see Minchin Kim fly the DJI drone? Because he could actually
It's coming
fly
for
it.
you, Andrew.
Any bit of it.
Let me
No,
find it.
I missed all the.
This is the master at work.
Who?
Minchin Kim?
Oh.
You
Is he
know
flying
him.
the new DJI?
This
Yeah.
is him flying it now, just to show that, you know, it can be flown properly.
This is about where I got up to when I was watching it, and then I had to do something else. But did you see BMS Thomas as well doing it through some race course?
Yes, I watched.
Did they tune it so it's better, or is this stock? Can you
Just
tune
stock.
it?
There are rates you can mess with once you put it into full manual mode.
Yeah, he's doing well. I don't think he broke his. You see the props in view every now and again.
Yeah, that's to do with like the 1D stabilization, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. That
He's
is-
done well, though, hasn't he?
I mean,
Yeah.
especially for something that weighs like a house brick
Hmm.
and is
Yeah, I mean-
essentially the same shape as a coffee maker. It's pretty good.
He probably could fly a brick if he, you know, just lobbed it in the air. It would probably.
Challenge for me and
Yeah.
Frank.
Everyone's saying, you know, it's not a hardcore freestyle quad, and that's a lot of what he was saying in sort of description comments on that video. But you know, if you compare it to a freestyle quad from 5 years ago, then it's very, very, very good. And
I think the problem with it is not because it's heavy and it's hard to freestyle with, because you can get around that. It's the fact that if you're doing this sort of thing, you're more liable to crash it. And then quads 5 years ago didn't explode into very expensive parts when you crashed them.
Well, it was mostly props 5 years ago, wasn't it? It would just come back and there'd be just little nubs on there.
Yeah.
well,
The whole leg
Well-
brakes on the DJI are a bit easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, they are literally made of cheese. What were you saying, Frank?
I was going to say about your Kiss quad around the airsoft arena, just
Yeah,
touching,
that was on
touching
fire.
a wall and catching fire.
I didn't even touch a wall; it just went on fire.
That was 18 MPSEs back in the day, not tuned properly. They had to be tuned. It had to be proper tuned for
You
them
couldn't
not.
tune that thing. It was made out of cardboard paint, you know, with drawn. You know, it had been shown a picture of carbon fiber, and tried to draw it, and that was about it, really.
Yes, Fraser. Every time we do mention it, you've got to have a swig.
Still won't drink. This
I know,
one
we
who
got-
else
we got
knows you
told
can
off
take
for
any more
mentioning it.
alcohol.
Yeah, this is why I have orange juice this week. I'm not falling for that one again.
Yeah, I've just drunk my
Right,
Ribena.
are we going to talk about the Airspeeder? That is basically why I'm here.
Yes.
Go on then, Jack.
It's a great detail either. So, fill us in, Frank. Tell us the story.
Yes, so in June 2019, Airspeeder came over, who we've had on the show, and they've talked about kind of their long-term goals. They came over for the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and brought basically one of their old models that's kind of a concept demonstrator kind of thing, and came along to demonstrate that for the journalists and everyone. And Oh dear. They, applied for the permission from the CAA to demonstrate it because it's quite big and heavy and in front of people and things. And CAA went, no, I don't think so. And then they kind of had a bit of negotiation, sort of talks. Okay, these are the kind of restrictions we're going to have in place. We're only going to go this fast. We're only going to go in this area. We're only going to go this high. We're going to have these fail safes in place. We've got permissions from the Australian authorities to do things over in Australia. So, we've got some kudos there. And CAA eventually went, yeah, okay, well, you can come along on that basis. And they turned up on the day. CAA turned up on the day, said, can we have a look at it? And they went, no, we're about to fly it. We're busy. You can't look at it now. And then they took off, and it was going, and then it lost control.
Wasn't it only supposed to be like a couple of feet off the floor, and that was it? Well, they were saying you can fly it, but only a few meters.
Yeah, there was a height limit to it, and a speed limit, and a distance, and having spotters and on all corners and things like this, which they weren't quite in the right places necessarily.
They're in the beer tent.
Pretty much. So it was on, because they looked up the Ofcom regulations, and so they had the R9 system, but which they've been flying on a watt out in Australia. Came over here, saw that the regulations were different, turned it down to not 25 milliwatts that it's allowed, but they turned it down even further to 10 milliwatts, and hadn't really done a proper range check on it, and also hadn't really done a proper range check on the failsafe button.
Who'd use their
Why is there a
R9 for
fail-safe
start?
button?
It's almost like you should test your fail-safes before you go and fly.
Also, the
controlled
concept of
environment.
the fail-safe
Tony.
button, it's like, I've lost control. I should press the fail-safe button. Well, why is that not working anymore? That's weird. It's like I've lost control.
Oh, it's all right. I'll fly it back line of sight.
Once it comes back in range.
Yeah.
I'm not testing it.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they hadn't tested their failsafe either. At least not perhaps thoroughly enough, because they'd set their failsafe to hold throttle, set to stabilize and level. So as they were flying along, they had more than hover throttle, but it held that throttle and leveled out, which meant it just went up and up and up.
I can't believe
it going up until it ran out of battery, and then went down and down and down.
It got into some flight path, Gatwick flight path, didn't it?
It got high enough to get into the holding pattern for Gatwick Airport.
How high did it go? Was it? Did I hear 8,000 feet or something?
Let me find you.
The pictures are incredible. Thank you, Zero.
Thank you, Zero.
Thank you very much, bro. Missed you in the chat. Hope you're all right.
Best mod ever. Fruity cake sucks.
You said it. I didn't.
There was an interesting question there from FPV SE. Is Australia a 915 megahertz country or an 868? Because
that may have also,
if it was taken out by phone.
Yes, this may have also been an issue. Yes, that they didn't quite spot. So well done for spotting that one. Because that hadn't been spotted either. But yeah, that's how high
Look at how high it went.
So yes, you can see
Portsmouth,
Isle of Wight, Hailing Island. Yeah, it got quite high before running out of battery.
That does look quite high when you can start to see the curvature of the Earth. You can tell you're up there a bit.
I can see a straight line there, mate.
Another kind of thing, sort of in the post-mortem reports. This is the Air Accident Investigation Bureau doing their report on it, because although it crashed within the boundary of the flying, or not the flying field, but the airfield.
It's almost as if it landed like Elon Musk's SpaceX.
Where
Come back down quite near, didn't it?
It crashed 40 meters away from some houses that are the other side of the boundary, where some people saw something, drop out the sky into the ground, and they went out and had a look and thought, a drone's crashed. Went and had a look and saw the size of it and went, "I'm ringing the police now." That's a very big thing to drop out the sky. Yeah, it was not
so wiring.
But yeah, I mean, there's other things as well in the video that they had on board, the onboard video, does also show that when they were flying it, they were flying outside of the display area, which is also not ideal when that's kind of a condition that you've convinced CAA to let you do it. But
Anything right.
Would it be easier to list if they did anything right?
I mean, they did contact the CAA and get them to,
and
give
then
them
tell
the
them porkies in order to get permission. Yeah.
But yeah, the real clincher of why we want to have Jack on to talk about this one were some quite interesting photos of the inside of it, which I hope, Jack, that you're feeling quite strong. Got a bit of a strong constitution to you at the moment.
No, I'm mentally weak. I have been crying about missing Andy RC. I've
We've
been
all been
heavily
crying about
whinging at Frank. I'm such a disposition. I threw poo at my wall earlier. That is, I'm mentally unstable.
Well, prepare yourself to see some photos of what's been going on in here, because it is quite impressive.
Remember, it is a podcast, so we're going to have to talk about what's going on in the future.
So
those who listen.
So this is doesn't look amazing because there's bits of components that are just kind of floating
Looks
around.
like chewing gum. I might have been on the team.
No.
I think that's probably fine, because that's probably like the epoxy stuff that's holding on antennas, right? But you've got a load of bare contacts around.
There's like an Arduino Mini running anything that big. It's like, it's all right. We've got 8-bit power behind us.
I bet it's not even a genuine Arduino, is it?
We can count all the way up to 255 with this baby.
But also, this is the kill switch. So it turns out the kill switch doesn't kill the power to the motors.
It kills the code.
It kills the power to the flight controller.
Oh.
So if it's that your ESC is not doing what it's meant to be doing, it's not going to help particularly.
Maybe they got confused and thought with kill switch is intended to kill the pilot if it was manned at the time.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, is a kill switch is not a fail-safe. It's specifically a fail-deadly. So that's not ideal either. But here we go. Here you go, Jack. Take a look at these.
God, that looks like a run-over badger.
Well, notice this image on the left, which is an image of an XT60, which some people would already have an issue with, but we'll give them a pass on that.
Not even done the silk screen right.
But yeah, it does seem to be soldered the opposite way round from the way the silk screen on the PCB is indicating. You've got the chamfers at that end of the silk screen.
I mean, why are you even using an XT60 with something the size of a bathtub?
It might not be doing the power that's actually doing the power of the quad, I would hope, but it might be doing something else. But either way, whoever designed the PCB or installs the XT60, they had different ideas of what should be positive and what should be negative, which isn't good.
Maybe there was some sort of diagram they could have followed.
Because, like, in a weird way, like, does anyone notice that the positive symbol is correct, but the outline of the XT60 is incorrect? Does anyone notice that? So they've soldered it correctly. It's whoever designed the board doesn't know which way around an XT60 goes.
It's not ideal, that.
No, that is worrying. Worryingly bad.
On the right, that looks like one of Tony's ones. Twisted the words
It
together.
looks like a rusty beaver's had a good old nibble on that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think this
It's not even soldered.
This image on the right, where you've got kind of bare wires showing and the insulation not quite going up to the end of it. I mean, they're saying here that it's burnt insulation, so they reckon in the basically a lot of this is saying in the crash it crashed everything, and so you can't really tell what was, it was so this was kind of the thing from the other day of saying, something like a 90
it crashed
joule.
so badly that the XT60 spun round.
No, that one, no. But I mean, in the text of the document, sort of when they were going, let's try and work out what caused the problem to begin with. They couldn't do a lot of that because it was just in pieces. And what they're kind of saying here is, maybe it shorted something out in the crash, and so the high current burnt off the insulation. I mean, maybe Jack's got a bit more experience here, but to me that doesn't look like it's burnt. That just looks like you've not kind of soldered it right.
It looks like a little hamster's gone in there and had a bit of a nibble, to be fair.
It looks like it's been frayed from movement, unless it was just still right in the first place.
But like, what is it meant to be soldered into? Because there's like, there's...
That doesn't look right, does it? There's
it doesn't.
Actual,
there's no fill there whatsoever.
They did go through, because they were worried about there being dry joints, and so one of the things they did do was X-ray all the boards, particularly all these joints, to see if there were any dry joints. But they eliminated that. It said no, they didn't have any dry joints. It wasn't the neatest job, but there were at least good connections. But yeah, it doesn't look amazing. I mean, Jack's got much more of an opinion on this sort of thing than me. Do you want to critique this? Get your your fine art skills going?
Well, it's a load of old bollocks, isn't it? Really, that's what we would say. And I mean, did that resistor, like, are they saying when it crashed with so much heat as it burned back into the world's atmosphere that the that resistor floated off a bit? Like, you can see, like, on the wire, you can literally see there's no solder, a pinhole there. It's wedged in there, bit of insulation, and then just chewed. I don't know whether that is melted or not, but like, they didn't even clean their flux. There's all manner of like just crap everywhere.
Yeah. But here's where's this one? This is kind of the whole thing.
R9. It looks like a right old tumour, doesn't it? Bless it.
Fragments of receiver board is not something you want to see.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't strike confidence.
I'm all for a bit of Scholastic, but when it looks like, when it looks like a wasp's nest or a kidney stone, I don't know. What the hell, man? So I'm guessing these Ethernet connectors are what they were connecting the arms with. The ESCs.
Yes. Yeah. Which, that's another interesting interesting thing to pick up on.
So they're hoping that
This was their kill switch. So they had told the CIA that every spotter was going to have their own kill switch. There was going to be a button that they'd press and they'd stand at the corners. But actually, they just hooked up a nano and probably a Zigbee or something like that. Or is it just a 433 packet radio, whatever it is? Hook that up to a computer. So the actual kill was not kind of just a button with each spotter. It was someone was typing into a laptop. Kill, stop, do nothing, hit enter.
Oh my god, that's
Which is
scary.
Not ideal.
Yeah, maybe I'll take my pilot thing off that, off there. I've asked. I sent them an
the
email.
worrying thing is like they asked
No.
permission for a government body, and then they were like, "Can we have a look at it?" And we're like, "No, we're going to use it." It's like driving to the MOT centre and being like, "Oh, we're going to test your car." No, you can't look at it. I've got to go to the shops in a minute. And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, fine."
Tell me it passed.
Yeah.
So, what were the findings of this? Because surely this is like, this is the worst thing ever. You can never fly again. Leave our country immediately, else we'll have you executed.
They're literally hoping that little bit of plastic is going to keep that connector in there.
Yeah, so you're saying about the Ethernet. So they've got a Ethernet breakout board
What is wrong with these people?
connected
Who
to
let
their
them in?
ESC, and they've just kind of cable
And
tied
there's hot
that.
glue. There's hot glue. Fantastic. Fucking,
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
elastic
strange
wasn't
relief.
enough.
Yeah, it's not amazing, but so the CIA have a few recommendations. They have 2.5 pages of A4 of very red safety recommendations, ranging from it is recommended that Airspeeder change how they design, build, test, fly, operate, do things. To
Airspeeder, try not to be you anymore.
a little bit of that. Things about maybe we should make sure that we have people that kind of know how to spot these kinds of things. So
I mean, the worrying thing is they're the professionals. So the CIA are probably like, so if they're professional, God knows what the hobbyists think they're okay. So like, hang on, let me just get so that weird white chewing gum stuff. Is this stuff basically? So the problem is with hot glue is in the heat it goes molten again. In cold it comes off. You can also spill a load of alcohol or residue, and it'll get in between, a smooth surface and come off. And the worst thing is a lot of people, like who mod consoles and stuff like that, will add hot glue as some sort of strain relief. And the problem is with that is that hot glue's not very flexible. So this is what you're meant to use. The I can't pronounce this. Curry Kitten, give it a go.
I can't zoom him in. Where are we?
Kafute or something.
Kafute K740. Yeah, it's like it's like a white glue. You can buy it in black as well. It's good stuff. The Chinese girl that's a bit of a bimbo, who with a cyborg, big boobs. I don't know what she calls herself.
Sexy cyborg.
Yes, that's it. Yes, she used
no
some
idea
of
what
this
you're
to
talking
put LEDs and batteries into her shoes. She is a genius. But yeah, there you go. It's like white and sticky, and it goes all mastic, and it's great for strain relief because it's got a little bit of give in it. And I've used this stuff, but like Lord Christ, they are probably using it to hide the crimes of whatever they done to those connectors.
What was interesting about Airspeeder when they came on is before they did, I looked at, because they had a big vlog about how they were developing this thing, and it was essentially a couple of guys out in a shed somewhere trying to make this thing fly. and it just looked like a couple of idiots trying to make something fly. It's like if me and Tony got drunk and said, "I wonder if we can make this fly," that's what it would be. But we kind of figured they sort of developed on from that, and it just looks like they've put a lovely veneer of like, oh look, here's this lovely racing shell. It doesn't look professional, but the insides are still a box of nails. Essentially, they haven't done anything differently there. It still looks like crap.
I think it's worth bearing in mind that this probably was that same one. So this was back in 2019, and this was one that already was like a previous mark. And I think it was just a kind of a concept one that they had probably sitting on a wall somewhere that they knew could fly. And so when someone came along and said, "Can you show it off? Can you demonstrate something?" They dug this off the wall and went, "Well, this one flies. Well, we can do that one." But I think this is kind of a good illustration of just because you've done something before and it's worked doesn't mean that you can assume it will work perfectly again. And you do have to kind of think, like, have I actually made sure that everything is okay? Have I actually tested the fail-safe, Tony?
Yes, Tony.
Is there actually, although I am confident in this, in the way I usually use it, am I doing anything differently here that I should maybe test before I do it? When you're starting to use a different radio settings, if you're starting to use a different environment and a different team of people and different weather and all these kinds of things, it feels like you've done it before because it's just flying the thing that you've been flying years ago and it was fine, but it cannot be. There can be kind of all these things that add up and make it a completely different situation.
Yes,
Maybe they had the rose-tinted spectacles. I know I had that with my tricopter. I used to think tricopter flies really great, and then I tried flying it a couple of years ago. And it's like, this is horrible. This flies like a piece of crap. Things have moved on. When you go back, it's really
Caroline, this is the stuff that you should use. Same brand, but it's the K1668, and this hardens and it's able to be better removed, so that then you can put on a new antenna. Because obviously you don't need the flex you don't want the flex in case the connector comes off and then it's not visibly the UL connector is not physically on there, correct? So you stick it on and then stick it on with this. This is the yellow stuff. You can buy a cheaper version of it from Banggood, and it is this stuff.
I lost my.
And I think it's called antenna fixing glue from Motif RC. There you go. Oh God, this is horrendous. But there you go, same stuff. But yeah, please do stuff right. It kind of helps. That's why Frank's rat nest hasn't exploded yet.
Combined with me not flying it also helps.
God rest its soul. Well, you went to an event where that was the only thing that did work, and you had to fly that, and I was like, why did you do that?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, it was the only thing that did work.
Well, it's because I didn't fly it, therefore it wasn't broken yet.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yes, for the
win. But yeah, Win in the chat says no one expects it to be more than the prototype, but if you're going to do something, start with doing it professional as best you can. Yeah, I mean, I think when you're doing something in the middle of nowhere out in the middle of Australia, I imagine you can kind of feel like, oh well, we don't have to be too strict about it because we're not going to be near anyone. And then it starts out as a temporary solution, and then you forget that it's a temporary solution, and then then you end up maybe forgetting that and don't do anything about it, and it becomes a permanent solution. That's something I've seen happen in multiple situations, and it always causes problems. When you get comfortable with things, that's when it bites you in the ass.
Yeah. Or another thing is build it as best you can, even if it is the prototype, because they might look exactly the same on the outside, because the cases get made and you've got like one that tests, they look exactly the same, and you accidentally give someone the wrong one, but it doesn't matter because you built it as best you can with the same stuff. So that is a classic.
I don't know. I think when
Unless
you
you write prototype all over it.
I mean, it does. I guess that's the right approach to take when you're in a professional environment. But I think, if you're doing something, and I think this probably has, I mean, maybe not, but most businesses even start out with, like Harry says, a couple of guys with a drink going, let's try doing this. This will be fun. And, then it gets carried away and goes on to something else. So
let's make a potato fly 4
exactly.
weeks later.
Yeah.
Nah.
I enjoyed that video.
Yeah, I enjoyed
I
that
know.
video. But yeah, so I don't know. I think there is a time and a place for doing a bodge job and getting something to happen without worrying too much about it. But I think you do have to kind of be very aware that if it's a bodge job, it needs to not be carrying on.
Only kill you and no one else.
Yeah.
Do you imagine if there was someone on board that and it was just going up and up and up and up?
Oh my god, that would be horrendous.
Oh, mate.
I couldn't imagine agreeing to be on board if someone else is flying it remotely. That'd be the most scariest ride I could ever imagine.
I also hate the idea that someone had to write a kill command. Hang on a minute, it's going out of control. Let me just go over here. Open the laptop. Oh no, hang on, I put that in the wrong place. Like enter, and then hope it's still got a signal to receive that command.
The other thing was they did have a backup Tyrannus. So they were flying it with a Tyrannus with the R9 module on 10 milliwatts. And they had a backup Tyrannus, which they left behied in the shed in like where they were storing everything. So they didn't have it with them when they were flying, so they couldn't just turn it on and make it go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Back up miles away.
So again, another lesson: when you do have a backup, not only do you need to test all your fail safes and backups, Tony, but you also need to have it there and with you. And yeah,
I'm not sure
I mean, I get it. I'm a complete bellend.
Multiple radios anyway.
Oh,
So
what was it, Harry?
I'm not sure you can bind the R9 to multiple.
I think you can.
So they may have had a spare radio, but are they waiting for the other guy to chuck in the R9 module over and plug it back in? And
because there was the mark on the kind of picture of the whole thing saying missing R9 receiver or some. So I think maybe they had two R9 receivers, and then it's the Arduino Nano flight controller that's looking at both of them and working out what it should be doing, I guess.
Fraser Steam.
see the source code where it says comment to do flight control stuff or something like that.
Yeah, I did email Airspeeder last week asking for comments and updates, and they did offer to get in touch and talk about it, but I've just been too busy, and then Jack came on, so I haven't spoken to them.
Nice to get back on and see.
But yeah, I mean, I would like to. That was kind of what I was asking them, is that if you got,
please come on and defend yourself. Be like, shut up, you fluffy head prick. You weren't there.
It has been kind of all over Facebook, and even BMFA did a Zoom webinar on it, and there's been quite a lot of coverage that's rumbled on for quite a while along in the community. So I think it would be kind of good to see kind of what they've got to say for themselves.
The only good thing is it probably won't happen again now.
Because they would be refused permission every time.
Shut up, Curry, but maybe.
We should explain that when they did come on, the accident already happened, but we were asked not to discuss. Obviously, that the findings weren't brought forward yet, so that was not a topic on the table. But yeah, it'd be great to have them back and tell us what they've done differently since that time.
I mean, I get it. Everyone fucks up, but there seems to be a lot of fuck ups there, like all in one big
But I think also kind of the very early things were, a lot of student projects were kind of involved in putting that all together. There's a kind of very first prototype demonstrator of kind of thing. But at least from what I can tell from all their kind of social media posts and everything they've been releasing more recently, when they came on, they were talking about, they've got actual fully manned pilots actually involved in it, and actual aerospace engineers with some professional experience, and automotive engineers as well. So
do we need our disclaimer? Any views expressed on the show are personal.
Any views expressed by any guests on this show, or in fact ours, are personal and may not reflect the views of others. Please don't do us.
Because we're dickheads.
Yeah.
Jack's in charge. To him. He's liable.
No, he panics and gets his lawyers out.
No.
And they're not a pair of his trousers.
But there's nothing here that
very annoyed at me anyway.
The Air Accident Investigation Bureau report that's publicly available, so I can't imagine. And nothing that hasn't been plastered all over Facebook and there's been the BMFA webinar. I think if the BMFA can talk about it, I think we can probably risk it as well.
Yeah. Well, all we can officially say is, come on, lads and ladies. Oh my word!
I wonder if this is a problem, because as I remember it, it's like the whole Airspeeder idea is like, we've got this vision, we want this to happen. It's not coming from a technical standpoint. It's coming from, I want this to happen. Boys, make it happen. Here's 50 quid. Make me a drone, and that's what. Look, it flies. Give us more money, and we'll create an amazing vision. And
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of the thing. Is that their product, what they're trying to build is more the race than the vehicle. So I think they need to have something there that flies, that kind of gives you an idea of what it is they're looking for people to form teams to build and enter. Because I think that's probably what they're trying to do. Is this is the kind of the idea of this is what we're trying to do, and they're building something that communicates that without necessarily being that.
Yeah, I should say that's great when you're in the outback. But it sounds like if they've got actual aerospace people working on it now, then obviously they've got enough stuff going on or some sort of backing to say that, okay, do something proper now.
Do you reckon we could actually build something better, or do you reckon we'd fuck it up?
No, we could do something better. It'd definitely be soldered better. We'd get Tony to do it. Put some gaffer tape around
with
it.
his feet.
I've got my tape on it today. Hope that wasn't too bad for you all.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to make a big scale something, but I wouldn't get in it. I fly FPV not because I want to fly full size, but because I don't have to risk life.
I've seen someone flying full size on Faceballs today. Frank, have you got that?
I mean, this.
I thought this was Tony on his X-Class for a start. It's a crazy thing.
I can't believe it's. I just can't believe. I have thought about doing this, but after seeing this and the prop failing, no.
Oh.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Even the dog's concerned.
The dog's like, that's not good. That's not going to happen.
No.
So that was someone hanging underneath a big copter.
It's like one of those big DJI crop sprayers. They can carry quite a payload, can't they? Like a small person before one of the motors gives out completely.
Are these? Is anyone ever going to go in one? They've got the E-hang and all that lot in China and stuff. I don't know.
It will get to a point where it will just be like, we're moving to electrical cars. and then one day in the future they will be the flying cars. I guess I don't know, but
It's scary though,
and
isn't
it'll
it?
be
I mean,
normal, and there'll be fail safes, and it'll be
how
like
many
that weird
fail-safes do you need?
film where you crash and your car fills with foam and they have to dig you out of the foam before you suffocate to death. What was that film called again?
Demolition Man are trying to just
Yeah. That's it. And the use of 3 seashells or something.
No one understands how you wipe your ass with seashells still.
I
That was
don't
never
either.
explained.
Quite nice.
Well, you live near the coast, Jack. Ain't you giving it a go yet?
No, not yet.
I mean, I
They're
think
almost as safe as a helicopter.
I was going to say, the sort of little helicopters. There's quite a few. At least one single point of failure. Like, I mean, as much as NJ will be on here saying, "Oh, no, helicopter's very safe."
I've messaged him. He has not got back to me.
Well, you can do auto rotation landing, can't you?
Yeah, if the engine fails, it's fine. You can manage your energy and land from that. But if a rotor fails, then bad. That's it. It's the same with an airplane, really. Like if your main spar fatigues,
Yeah, like the wings fall off. You got problems.
Yeah,
you just become a missile.
But I think the difference here is like we're prepared to put ourselves in passenger jets where they do a lot of miles and they do a lot of checks and they've got very professional pilots mostly that don't get pissed all the time. It's a little bit different when some guy's written some code that you haven't seen and it's like it's all right, it'll fly for you. Tony's like, you haven't tested the failsafe, have you? No, don't worry, Tony, it'll be fine. So you're safe. It's just like, oh, okay, I'll get in there. Because the thing about autonomous vehicles is like at some point someone's going to have to write the code to say, okay, the car's going to crash. We can save the driver or we can save the pedestrians. Which way do we go? It's like, well, do we?
I know. Like
it's like the modern day trolley problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the trolley problem.
Oh no, the autonomous quad vehicle carrying Tony's gonna crash. We can maybe make a landing, but there's a possibility it could take out that orphanage full of children, or we could just ditch him here in the sea and drown him for sure. What's the safe thing to do? So I don't know if I trust that code.
Don't drown me, please.
Tony's going into the sea. That's it.
No.
Tony wants to be with the fishes that he doesn't eat.
I can swim. I can swim. But...
Yeah, I think Caroline's brought up the 737 MAX software. Like someone wrote that. And yeah. Well, I mean that's. I mean most nowadays, at least, most engineering failures are of the user interface guiding people in the wrong direction. And
like the sat navs leading everyone into rivers and stuff.
Yeah, or
do that, don't they? I can't believe that.
Yeah, things like that.
This looks like the sea. Well, let's just keep going. It's the sea. That thing of stopping.
Can you imagine the Google Earth being liable for take a canoe?
I just don't believe
this waterfall. Yeah. But I think that's kind of the thing, isn't it? Once you've got enough money in the situation to actually engineer things properly and have custom-made PCBs that are actually designed for the job by people that know which way around the connectors go and which connectors are maybe more reliable than others.
I've still got to learn KiCad. I still want to make my own board.
Thank you very much for the $5.
Thank you, Caroline. Even though Uncle Sam's going to take 40% of it, and Google's going to do the rest. I think we need to fix that.
We do need to fix that. NJ says, I'm coming on next week just to explain helicopter safety to Frank.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's like there's things you can do when, I mean, like I say, like engine goes out, you're fine. it's everything else that's, if it goes, is bad. You fall out of the sky.
Well, I
Yes.
think that's where the sort of safety checks come in and at you and reliability. And then you start talking about statistics, don't you? And say, well, compared to a car, you're much safer and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
See, I was
mean,
hoping
it's-
NJ would.
Compared to people that like wingsuit flying, you're really safe. That kind of thing, you just smack into mountains.
Yeah, I quite like the idea of turning myself into a flying squirrel.
Have you seen the flying squirrel guy who flew? He jumped out of a helicopter
Into another
flew-
plane. That was
No, he
badass.
flew and landed into cardboard boxes. He didn't have a parachute or anything. He literally jumped out of a helicopter, flew down into, I think it was 30 grand's worth of cardboard boxes he spent, and he just landed with no. He just went into a
I
load
don't
of
know if I
cardboard.
can call that landing technically. It's just like
He landed and got
electric
out.
crashing.
NJ, I was hoping you were going to come on because I had my teeth cleaned and whitened today. And when I got out and like I took my mask off to like have a look in the lift, I looked and then all my gums are like gently bleeding and it was like all the like onto my teeth. It was the most horrific thing ever. I haven't dyed my beard yet, but you know, I need to grow it more first, I think.
Fraser says helicopter safety is easy, just don't go near the bastard things.
Who did you meet, Frank? Who used to be? Was it you or was it Sheldon? Like, I think it was Sheldon. He like knew someone who flew helicopters in the military, and he's like, why aren't you doing that privately or professionally or doing it anymore? He goes, because they're really dangerous. No one should ever get in them.
FEVSE said, as we know from video games and movies, helicopters all crash.
Yeah.
Very
Or
true, very
Chernobyl.
true.
Yeah, anything that can't stand you flying over a beam of radiation. Ugh.
Yeah. There's quite a few famous people have been killed in helicopter crashes.
And this is why Align Treks never turned up again.
Yeah, they hate me anyway.
They do hate you.
Yeah. I just kept them clean as a kid, Jack. Oh. NJ, where are you? Come on, I've sent you the link. I'm sat in the
It's too late,
Discord.
Jack. We've done our hour. We'll have to wait till NJ.
I want my little NJ. I miss him.
next week.
NJ, hold me. And I was... wow, such ignorance.
All right, wrap it up.
Oh, he's telling me off. Frank,
Come on.
do you want to cover
I
that?
want to go now.
What?
Helicopter not to blame. Apparently. Thank you. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Thank you so much for all your donations and everything. Thank you so much for all our Patreons. We love you guys. And most of all, we love our little Tony.
Oh, sure. Bye. I
Everyone's
wasn't
favorite
listening again.
Right. I was
Andrew / Frank.
Bye.
And I've been Bright Until I Fly. Remember, kids, the knobbly bit of the XT60 is the positive end, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.